Hello, and welcome to the planets represented as characters from Persona 5 Royal. So, let's begin, shall we? So, first up, over here, uh, we have the planet closest to the Sun, Mercury. And I chose this guy, Yusuke, to represent Mercury. The reason why I chose him is because Mercury, even though it's the planet closest to the sun, it is not the hottest planet actually. It is also the planet that rotates around the sun the fastest. So I chose the character who is the fastest in the game and mainly uses ice magic to rotate. It's not the coldest planet, but I still wanted to show how it wasn't the hottest planet, and so I thought this fit. Um, Next up, we have Venus over here, represented by On Takamaki. The reason why I chose On was because Venus is the hottest planet, and it's also named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. And On is a fire. She uses fire magic, and the game represents her as like the prettiest. She gets away with a lot of stuff because she's pretty and all of that, and so that's why I chose On. Over here, we have the protagonist, commonly referred to as Joker. He's Earth, and the reason why I made him Earth is because, well, we live through him in the game, and we live on Earth. Earth is the only planet that we know to have life on it, and we live the most through him. So, also, a fun fact, the game constantly revolves around him. Basically, all of the characters only interact with each other when they're with him. And I'd like to represent that with how a lot of people thought that it was the solar system revolved around Earth first. So there's that. Then, next over, we move over to Mars, which is represented by Makoto. And the reason why I had Makoto represent it is because she's the smartest character, and we have done the most research and sent the most successful missions over to Mars. So, a lot of smart research things over here. Also, she is my second favorite character in the main game, and Mars is my second favorite planet. It's just cool. Then next we have the asteroid belt. It's a very thin line. It's probably a little harder to see, but the asteroid belt going around. There are several dwarf planets in here. I didn't have characters represent them, though. I'm sorry. But moving on to the gas giants. Over here, we have Morgana as Jupiter, as you can see here. I don't know if you can, but the reason why I chose Morgana as Jupiter is, one, Jupiter has a lot of storms on for it. It's known for its big storm, the red dot. And Morgana here uses wind magic. So, storms. I saw that association. Also, Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system. And Morgana has the biggest ego out of all of the characters. So, I thought that was very fitting. Also, I made it because Jupiter is my least favorite planet. I don't like Jupiter for some reason, and I really don't like Morgana. So that's my association. Next up, we have Saturn. I chose Ryuji because he's one of the only characters who actually matches the color of what I first associated with him. Also, Saturn has the strongest and most visible rings that we can see through any planet, and he has the highest strength stat of all the characters. So I thought that was very fitting for him. Next up, we have Uranus over here, represented by Yoshizawa. Now, I chose her because my first thing with Uranus, it rotates on its side. It's the only planet in our solar system that does that. And so I chose Yoshizawa because she is very different from the rest of the group. Whereas the rest of the group, including Akechi, was introduced in the first game. And then in the remake, she was introduced and is still considered a part of the official Phantom Thieves. unlike the rest of the characters who are already introduced. So I thought that was a very interesting fact. Next up, all the way over here, we got Neptune, represented by Haru Okumura. And the reason why I chose Haru is because the reason why I chose her for Neptune is because Neptune, in a lot of places that I looked up, describes it as very rich with a lot of different gases. And so my first association was Haru's super rich. So I made that small connection. My other one is that it's blue, it's very blue, and it turns out Haru's favorite color is blue. I thought that was very nice. She wears a lot of blue stuff. Unfortunately, I couldn't represent it here, but that was the best image I could find. But then, moving on to the very outside, we have Pluto right here. Also the Kuiper Belt, because I ran out of space on the thing trying to fit all of the characters and give them enough space. But we have Best Boy Akechi up here, Pluto, and the Kuiper Belt. The reason why I chose Akechi for Pluto is because a few reasons. One, he matches the color of Pluto, and he used to be a part of the Phantom Thieves. So he was discovered by Clyde Tombaugh in 1930, which is very recently and very late considering all the other planets, which represents his story, how he comes in very late. And there's a lot of controversy between the discovery of Pluto and if it should be considered a planet or not. Like how Akechi, the rest of the group had never really recognized him as an official part of the group. And he also left for certain reasons that are spoilers. But Akechi is great, and I still really like him, and I still consider him a part of the Phantom Thieves, like how I still consider Pluto a part of the planets.